Hello and welcome back to the Blame Game. Week 2 is in the books and the results are still topsy-turvy. We've got a 5-way tie for first. It was also the first weekend in which we had 12.3 patch enabled, which actually leads us to a very interesting first topic. Before we get into that topic though, I broke 100k followers on Twitter! Woohoo! I measure my life's value and how many people follow me, so I feel great right now and I can't wait to get to 1 million. So this week we aren't discussing a player's blame, but actually a champion's. That's right, I'm going to White Knight everyone's favorite lizard wizard in the top lane, RENEKTON. He was picked in 4 out of 5 games on Saturday, and even in the games that he won, there were top comments in the threads shitting on him. Now, is this criticism fair or just a symptom of Church 9 overtaking the LCS? Before anyone gets the wrong idea about what I'm saying here, I want to preface this. I really do not like RENEKTON at all in the current meta, outside of really specific ideas or drafts that teams are kind of going for. I especially don't like him given the changes on 12.3 for itemizations that punish fat meatballs who just relied on base damages because the items were pushed more into a damage role. Him still being picked in 4 out of 5 games is a head scratcher to me as well. However, these games have a ton of things going wrong in them beyond the RENEKTON pick, and by tunneling on the Crocodile, those things are going overlooked. For example, how awesome of a draft EG had in that Dignitas game. The early Karma pick indicates a potential roaming top strat while maybe being flexed into the support position, which means you're effectively forcing Dignitas to blind both roles. The roaming top strat is actually perfect for countering Dig's draft and team identity. Dig have a very early game oriented draft, with 2 winning side lanes that Ahri and Xin want to roam over to and snowball their leads. However, a roaming top means that there's no one to gank in the top lane, and the Karma lurking in the bot river means that mid and bot lane can't shove freely. Additionally, this leaves RENEKTON as the one who's getting super far ahead, but little to do with that gold. And Fake God in particular isn't typically the Fed member of Dignitas, and the team doesn't play around him as well as they do Neo or Blue. Impact actually plays this out pretty poorly, but the strategy behind the idea is incredible. The most offensive thing from this game is actually his and River's builds given the changes to the fighter items. Normally, people love shitting on builds, but because everyone is so horny for RENEKTON, I don't have enough comments to make that a topic. In the game versus Immortals, 100 Thieves are still having massive team coordination issues when playing weaker opponents. Why is Huhi going in here 4v5 before RENEKTON is even close to the fight? Here, Abadaga clearly pings the ward to TP flank onto mid while he ults in, but Someday just says screw it, I'll walk, and they lose this fight. Why is Ryze resetting so late before Dragon? Team fighters can reset during this window because they just group down mid lane, but split pushers need to reset earlier to re-establish side wave pressure so that they are forcing Immortals into burning the dragon. And don't even get me started on the actual game losing fight. Who cares about any of these questions? Croc down bad. In the TSM game, this dive is absolutely insane. Pre-level 6, full HP Ornn under the turret without knowing where the enemy jungler is. Even if Jose wasn't there, this dive looked impossible.
They dove because of RENEKTON.
No, they dove because they're on a loss streak and they're desperate for a good play. As I said, I don't even like RENEKTON, but I can barely do these episodes if he's all we're gonna talk about. I personally think he's being valued too highly, but every single game that he's picked in, even in wins, the top comments are about him, so I cannot agree with the blame that he's getting. What if we try talking about what actually happened instead? The second topic this week comes to us from Immortals versus Cloud9. The Immortals lineup has really been struggling, and Power of Evil was supposed to be one of the points of strength for them in the mid lane. However, in a recent game, he supposedly struggled against a recently role swap top laner Enchanter One Trick. Is that actually true though? I admit that on my first viewing of this game, I was inclined to agree, initially thinking that the lane diff was actually jungle diff. In the post-game interview, Fudge said that he was a little worried about laning with Zilean, and Blabber said, don't worry, I'll camp your lane.
You busted out the Zilean today. Why was that the pick?
I think Zilean is very broken. I think Bjergsen's the only one that actually plays it like a lot in LCS. So, and I think he plays it for a good reason. I think it's really, really broken. The laning phase, if you can get through it, I think it's Scale's probably one of the best champions in the game. So, Blabber thought that if I played Zilean and he played Xin Zhao, we could gank the enemy mid laner, get me through lane. And if I go even in CS in lane, I think that it's really, really hard for the enemy team to actually do anything. As you can see from how the game went, I guess.
Yeah, it is interesting to me to hear you describe it as this broken champ, but we have only really seen.
However, I think Fudge deserves way more credit than just that. Right at 4 minutes, Fudge pulls the wave as PoE wants to recall. I'm not sure if PoE realized he wanted more gold or was just baited to push it in before he recalled, but either way, this sets up the first Blabbergank to burn his flash and stop PoE from being able to play aggressive. You can see later how PoE is spam pinging for help to fix his waves, and there's basically 45 seconds of 3v3s in the mid lane. When PoE's flash is back up, he's posturing in lane aggressively again with the thought that phase rush and flash can keep him safe. However, Fudge outplays him to land the double bombs and guarantees the kill. Him getting punished in lane so hard, combined with the horrible Void Staff purchase against armor stacking enemies in response to the triple AD threats on his team, makes me have to agree with the criticism of PoE this game. That's gonna do it for this week of the Blame Game. Thank you all so much for watching. Happy Valentine's Day or Single Awareness Day, whatever you're celebrating. Yes, I know this is coming out on Wednesday, but I record these on Monday. Also, Yay Miko's coming out this week. I know no one cares, but prepare your wallets.
Well, LCS has officially kicked off, and I know what you're concerned about, and that's just performance. How will North America perform? It's all about perform. Well, listen, I can tell you one great way to get an amazing performance, and that's with an Alienware computer. Yes, you can get the new Auroras available on alienware.com/Travis, or why don't you get a great notebook from them, maybe an M15 or X17 at alienware.com/Travis. They have great performance as well. And so who cares about how we perform this year when you've got the performance you need from Alienware?